Good morning, students. Good morning, students. I hope that the audio part of this video is okay. Let's begin with today's chapter reading session. Chapter number 1, a computer system, where we are going to learn about that computer is an electronic machine. I hope we had covered this reading part in the previous session. We will quickly start with a computer is an electronic machine that works under the instruction given to it. And who provides the instruction? Human beings, us, the user. We use computer for different kind of work such as drawing, coloring, doing calculations, making projects, online shopping, storing music, playing games, playing games or writing letters. Let us see how a computer follows the instruction given to you. That means how the computer performs the action given by the user. Let's start with it. Working of a computer, IPO. A computer works in these three steps. Input, what is given. The input is what is given by the user. You or us enter data into a computer and tell it what to do with that data. The data which we enter is input. This is called input. Process, what is done. The computer works on the data and produces a result. This is called process. Output, what is obtained. The computer then displays the result and stores it. The result or this result is called output. The numbers, images and letters what we put into the computer is called data. The output that we get after processing is the information. The numbers, images or whatever input we are providing, basically it is termed as data, input data. And after the processing, after the work is done, calculation is done, the answer generated or the output generated is known as information. The three steps are input, process, output, together known as IPO cycle. This figure shows how a computer processes the task, that is input, process, output. Every machine follows the IPO cycle. Let us see an example of how IPO happens in our daily life. This figure shows how a washing machine follows a IPO cycle as we discussed in the video. Input is your dirty clothes to be washed are put in the washing machine for processing or washing. Once it is being properly washed, clean, the output we get is dried, clean clothes. So this is how washing machine follows the input, processing, output cycle. Then the computer parts used for IPO cycle. A computer has different parts to carry out its function. These are keyboard, mouse, CPU, monitor and printer. I hope we all know about all these parts of computer. Keyboard. A keyboard has buttons called keys. You press them to type letters and numbers. And what is a mouse? A mouse has two buttons and a scroll wheel. You can use a mouse to point at icons or object on the screen. You can also use it to select and move icons on the screen. Like you can see, I am controlling this pointer by using the mouse. I am selecting, I am pointing I am clicking on different images by using the pointer or mouse. We use keyboard and mouse to give input to the computer. Then we have CPU. The central processing unit. CPU is the processing device of a computer. It processes, calculates. The CPU is also called the brain of the computer. It controls all functions of a computer. It also stores information. The CPU processes the input. The CPU has three main components: the arithmetical logical unit ALU, the control unit CU, and the memory unit MU. Figure shows the component of CPU. The arithmetic logic unit does the calculations such as addition, subtraction, and so on. It also performs comparison such as greater than, less than, equals to, and so on. The ALU then sends the result to the memory unit. Once the processing has been done, the result is being sent to the memory unit. The control unit is the most important part of CPU. Please underline. It controls the working of all the parts of the computer. It also helps in communication between memory unit and ALU. As we have seen in our previous video, it takes the input from the keyboard, stores in memory unit, sends it to the ALU for calculation, stores the result in memory unit, sends the output to the display unit. The memory unit stores the result or output data, information, and instructions that are used for processing. It stores the input, output, or the intermediate data which is being used during the calculation work, processing work. Then we will discuss about the output unit. A monitor also looks like a television. It has a screen that shows the output. The information showed on monitor is called soft copy. As I had mentioned, soft copy is what? The content which is displayed on the screen, like the content right now. Our book, we are seeing on a screen. It is soft copy of our book. And if I take out printout of this on a paper, then it will be hard copy. A printer receives output from a computer and prints it on a paper. The output printed on a paper is called hard copy. How the functioning of IPO cycle? Let us understand the functioning of the IPO cycle in detail. A computer system works on a data in a series of steps. The computer takes the data input from the keyboard or mouse, send it to CPU for processing. The CPU processes the data and sends the result or output to a monitor or a printer. The monitor or printer gives the output. We all understood that the work is done in 3 steps: taking the input from the keyboard or mouse. The control unit processes the CPU processes the input data, generates the output on the output device. The CPU processes the input in a series of steps. All its 3 steps, ALU, CU, and MU, work together to process the input. Let us use the calculator on your computer to add two numbers. To add the numbers 25 and 32, you type 25 plus 32 and equals to. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons which you will press on calculator. Here 25 and 32 are data, plus and equals to are instruction. These are data जिन पे कैलकुलेशन करना है